So I want to talk about something that's been going on in basically every friend group since the beginning of time. And nobody ever brings it up directly because that would defeat the whole point. There's a war happening, a silent one. And the reason it's silent is because the people fighting it would never in a million years admit they're fighting. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody in your friend group right now is quietly upset about something. And instead of saying, hey, I'm upset about something, they've been leaving the group chat on read for 3 days. And everyone in the group has noticed. And nobody has said anything. Because that's the agreement. That's the silent treaty. We all just keep pretending everything is fine until one day it either blows up or quietly disappears. Welcome to the friend group. I want to start with the person who stops responding to messages. Not the "I was busy" kind of not responding. The other kind. The kind where you can see they were online 20 minutes ago. They watched your story. They just haven't said anything. In the group chat, specifically. But if you text them separately, they respond in 2 minutes. Now, what do you do with that information? You can't say anything because then you look crazy. You can't ignore it because it's clearly intentional. So what most people do is absolutely nothing. They just absorb it like a little emotional splinter and carry it around all week. And the person who went quiet, they feel like they've made their point. What point? Nobody knows. That's the whole thing. The message was sent, but there was no message. I feel like half of all friend group drama could be solved if one person just said, "Hey, are you good?" But instead we all sit around interpreting the silence like it's a historical document. Then there's the thing where someone gets left out of plans. And this one is genuinely fascinating to watch from the outside. Two people in a group of 5 make plans without inviting the other 3. Fine, that happens. But then they post about it, online, for everyone to see, including the 3 people who weren't invited. And then the 3 people who weren't invited have to decide, do we say something? Do we pretend we didn't see it? Do we make our own plans and also post about them? And here's the thing. Nobody is going to say anything. The 2 people who went out will come back to the group chat like nothing happened. The 3 who saw the post will say, "Looks fun," because what else do you say? And then everyone goes home and tells their significant other about it in detail. It's a whole production, a silent, smiling, passive production. I actually read somewhere that people tend to express this stuff indirectly when saying it directly feels too risky. Which, yes, obviously. But here's my question. Risky how? What is the actual worst-case scenario of saying, "I felt a little left out"? Everyone agrees it was wrong, someone apologizes, you get pizza together. That's it. Instead, we choose the version where 3 people spend a week composing texts they never send. And the 2 people who went out eventually notice something is off, but they're not sure what. So they just become slightly more defensive in general. Now everybody's worse off. Nobody got pizza. Then there's the one person in every group who thinks they're keeping the peace. They are not keeping the peace. They are the peace's biggest threat. You know this person. They know everything about everyone in the group. They're the one who mediates when things get tense. They check in on people. They remember everything you said 6 months ago and will bring it up at exactly the wrong time. They mean well. That part I do believe. But their real function in the group is to make sure that everyone's feelings are known to everyone else except the person the feelings are about. They don't cause drama. They just transport it, very efficiently, with genuine concern on their face. And if you confront this person about it, they'll look at you like you just told them the sky is green. They were just trying to help. They were just making sure everyone is okay, which is technically true. It's just that their definition of okay is a lot messier than everyone else's. Here's another one. The friend who agrees with everything in person and then does the complete opposite later. You make plans, they say yes, they cancel 3 hours before. You ask for their opinion, they say whatever you think is fine, and then they're visibly unhappy with the choice. You try to address it, they say they're not upset. You can see on their face that they are upset. And here's what gets me. According to psychology, a lot of people do this because they don't want to look difficult. They want to come across as the easygoing, flexible, goes-with-the-flow person in the group. So they bottle everything up and stay agreeable on the surface, which, ironically, makes them the most difficult person in the group. Because now everyone is constantly trying to guess what they actually want. You've made the entire friend group into a detective agency. Congratulations. Now, I want to be fair here, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I've always handled things perfectly with my friends either. I've absolutely been the person who went quiet instead of just saying what was wrong. I've left messages on read. I've said I was fine when I wasn't fine. I'm not proud of it. But I also didn't write a lengthy review about it to the corporate office of friendship. So I'd say I'm doing all right. The truth is, most of this stuff doesn't come from bad intentions. It comes from the fact that nobody teaches you how to handle conflict with your friends. Romantic relationships have breakups, rules, expectations. Friendship has none of that. You just figure it out as you go. And a lot of people's strategy for figuring it out is, don't say anything and hope it resolves itself. And sometimes it does resolve itself. That's the kicker. Sometimes you just needed a few days and then everything was fine again. So the strategy gets reinforced. And then one day, it doesn't work. And the friendship quietly disappears, and neither person can really explain why they aren't close anymore. They just drifted. That's usually what drifting is, by the way. It's usually a bunch of unsaid things that piled up until the friendship couldn't hold the weight. But then there's the other end of the spectrum, the person who doesn't stay quiet at all. The one who addresses everything, immediately. Every small thing becomes a conversation. Every conversation becomes a check-in. Every check-in becomes a whole emotional audit. And look, I respect the communication. I do. But there's a version of radical honesty that starts to feel like a full-time job. If every hangout comes with a debrief, people will start avoiding the hangout. That's not a friendship anymore. That's an exit interview. There is a middle ground somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but it exists. Somewhere between I will silently resent you for 3 weeks and let's schedule a 30-minute call to discuss how you interrupted me at dinner. There's a version where you just say the thing, the other person says their thing, and then you both go back to watching the show. Apparently, this is very difficult. The silent wars in friend groups rarely end with a bang. No big confrontation, no dramatic falling out. It's more like someone slowly stops showing up, stops suggesting plans, takes longer and longer to respond. Until one day you realize the last time you actually talked was months ago, and you both knew something was off, and neither of you said anything. And now the war is just kind of over. Nobody won. Nobody lost. The friend group is just slightly smaller now, and nobody officially announced why. Which, honestly, is sadder than any blowout fight. So maybe just say the thing. Text them back. Invite all 5 people next time. Ask the person who went quiet if they're actually okay. Not, haha, you good with that god with the skull emoji. Actually ask. You might be surprised what happens when someone finally breaks the silence.